it's time for your Imperfect Strangers announcements. Before we get started, we want to extend a huge thank you to our stranger friend, Victor L. Victor, thank you so much for sending me a sound effect without asking any questions this evening when I was texting you. I appreciate you. Your work for the show does not go unnoticed, so can't wait for you guys to hear Victor's very special sound effect this week. Another note of thanks goes to our Patreon members. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for supporting the show. I would like to thank, on behalf of Melissa and myself, Jessica D., Tanya L., Melanie N., Nell S., Alia or Aaliyah, A-L-I-A, J., Leah J., J.K., Rosa M., Cheryl M., Rosie, Mick, Jesse, Nancy L., Nick C., Katie with a C, C, Dana G., Katie T., Joe T., Amanda B., Portia B., Matthew V., Jessica E., Mo G., Amanda S., Brian N. Thank you so very much for your patronage. And if you are interested in becoming an Imperfect Strangers Patreon, you can head on over to patreon.com/Imperfect Strangers Podcast. We have 3 different tiers, and in each of those tiers, different benefits to go along with them. We produce bonus episodes every week. We archive our Monday Night Lives. Our patrons get access to a private Discord server, which is so fun. It's not just for gamers. It's also for old people, easy to use. So lots of great stuff over there. Check it out if you're interested. And now, without further ado, on with the show.
Okay, you'll have to excuse me because sometimes in the middle of this, I'm waiting for a specific email, so I'll have to you'll hear me click around because I have to check them every now and again. Not Melissa multitasking on the mic.
I was just gonna say you were complaining last night about not being able to multitask, but look at you now. Look at you go.
I mean, it's kind of like necessary. I think I have a real job.
You do have a real job.
I said it like I was confused. No, I think the job has become very real in the past couple of weeks. So I'm like, oh, hold on, I gotta check my email. Honestly, more power to all of the working moms out there because I have had to shift my focus, gradually, slowly, but surely. I've always been able to do a lot in a day, as all moms do. Mm-hmm. But when you have to prioritize work because it's time sensitive and the kid stuff kind of gets backlogged and you need to call in this person for help and you need to call that person, like it really is emotionally an added strain. I've always understood that part of like the invisible labor of motherhood. But coordinating it myself when I'm the fall guy, you know what I'm saying? Like usually other moms can count on me. I'm the one, I'll go get that kid or you can drop him off here because you have to do X, Y, and Z. I'm not tripping about that. Like now I'm the person that needs that help. And I've never needed help before because I'm the caretaker. So it has been really not eye-opening because I understood it, but when I'm experiencing it, I'm like, bro, how does anybody who works then go home, clean their house, cook dinner, find time for themselves, watch a TV show, have sex? Bitch, no.
They don't. I mean, my schedule has filled up a lot more than it has, I would say, in the last 2 years. And the pandemic, I think, really has damaged me because the sheer amount of like coordination and driving and planning that happens now in a day where it wasn't happening before, like I just feel like there's never any time. And then I think about leaving the house for, 9-10 hours a day and doing that job and coming back. Like last week, for example, there was like they do meet the teacher night for the parents at school. So last week was Quinn's, and it was a 2-hour ordeal where you go for 15 minutes and you sit in each class period and listen to the teacher, and then you have a 5-minute break to transition. So you go through their entire day. Well, in this day, I had all of this shit going on, all of these things that I was, errands to run, and kids got to be here, kids got to be there. And then it got to the evening when they got home, and it was, this one's got to be here at this time, then this one's got to be here at this time. And Chris called me late in the afternoon, and he's like, what's going on for tonight? I saw this on the calendar. And I was like, well, I've got to have him here and I've got to have him here, but then I've got to be at school for 6. I can't be at school for 6 and get this one from karate. So I was hoping that you could come do it. And he was like, oh shit. He's like, I've got meetings, and I was calling to let you know I wasn't going to be home until later. And I was like, oh God, I don't want to go sit at school for 2 hours. That's like the last thing that I want to do.
The crazy part is like the calendar. So both parents now have a master calendar.
Yeah.
And both can see what's going on and where things will need to be filled in. Justin Beck has harped on me just since the homeschooling started.
Yeah.
We never had this before, because it would be like very binary. Justin Beck's leaving the house at 6 a.m. He will be home around 8-ish. And, he'll talk to his kids. Hey, man, yeah, go to bed. And then and then we'll hang out. We'll watch Game of Thrones. But, like, I'm still doing all the things. We'll watch Game of Thrones while I'm folding laundry.
Right.
And, like, all of the stuff that happened to me from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. is kind of a blur and kind of not worth discussing, because it sounds like minutia coming out of your mouth, and like you didn't have a productive and full day, but you really did, because you went to the supermarket, you went to Costco, you went to Staples right quick to find the little gold thing with the 2 flaps on it, because this student needed that. Just, you're doing the weirdest, dumbest errands. You're like the executive assistant for the entire house.
I was just going to say, it's personal assistant shit. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was no reason for me to have a calendar, because there was no way that he was ever going to not be at work to help me do X, Y, and Z. Right. So especially when it became 3 kids, it would be like, sorry, one kid, you're going to appear as though you don't have parents today, because neither of us can do this. Mm-hmm. But then pandemic hit, his work-life balance completely shifted. I think he's had a weird awakening. The triangle basically flipped upside down, and it was like, wow, I have an abundance of time. Mm-hmm. And I want to spend it with my kids. Meanwhile, out of nowhere, I caught a lick and got a job. What? Nobody was prepared for that.
Nobody. I didn't have that on my bingo card. I mean, I feel like within the last 6 months, it has really ramped up for you to the point where our turns have tabled. And where I used to be like, okay, I have this pocket here, I have this pocket here. Now I'm like, bitch, I'm wide open. When do you want to record? And you're like, well, I have to be at the factory at this time for this day, so I'm going to listen to it in the car on the way.
Yeah, and I have never been, it used to be where I had no excuse to be turning in notes late. You'd be like, you got those notes yet? Man, bitch, I saw this stretch of snapped. Bro.
Well, and now you're like, the notes are in there. And I was like, I know, I edited it and turned it around the same day, and it's now sat in there for 48 hours. But it's
and I'm
hard.
Like, oh, shit. Yes, because I'm over here juggling balls. Not those ones. No time for those.
No time for those.
And such is the fucking condition of life for the working American woman who has kids. Mm-hmm. So I don't know why I'm acting surprised that this is real, but it's that coordinating of calendar that's new, that piece that's new.
Yeah.
Where I am having to remember to add Justin on to things, because I'm like, I have an appointment at 1, and then this one has a pool party at 12:30. So how am I going to get to my appointment? Hold on, I got to coordinate. He's like, I can't come home for 15 minutes to drop a kid off at a pool party. And the kid's going to have to wait at the gate at the pool party. And I'm going to drive off. Like, it's that type of shit that's happening where, this is going to sound awful. My kids are obviously always my priority, but sometimes that shit goes by the wayside. Y'all can't go do the thing because mommy can't take you. Mommy can't do it because mommy's in a spreadsheet right now.
That's like the hard reality for the majority of parents who have full-time jobs outside of the house, even for parents that have full-time jobs inside the house.
Yeah. And this is why it's so important to not compare yourself to others, you know? You know, like, you'll start to feel bad looking at social media because, wow, these moms do this with their kids. I didn't do that with my kids. And it's just like, I did do things with my kids. I just didn't put it on the internet.
Which is a whole other thing.
Yes, correct. Yes. You're going into a new territory. The point is,
I know.
The fucking emotional pressure and the emotional labor and the brain work required to be a working mom is fucking crazy. Shout out to y'all. I hope every working mom out here got a PPP scam and has figured out a way to keep that money because y'all fucking deserve dead ass. I don't know why I took it there, but honestly, all working moms should be paid an extra thing from, I don't know where we pull it from, but it's fucking hard out here.
It's crazy. There have been like Reddits recently where there have been questions coming up like, well, if my partner is home working from home all day, like I expect them to have a meal on the table, or I expect them to have X, Y, and Z done. And it's like, you know, this is the first time in a very long time where I have not had the majority of my daytime hours, you know, shoved into trying to get all of my freelance work done. Pandemic just really killed that business for me. So I find myself like some days where my schedule is very open, and then there's other days where, you know, I go to work, they get the kids off, and then, you know, this one has got to have, like last week it was like, I got to take the saxophone to this place, and it's just filled, like you said, with these personal assistant errands, but it can take up a whole entire day. And then you go, okay, well, if I was working out of the house and tied to a desk for these 9-10 hours, at what time do you find to get those things done? Or does it now come into this space where you have those conveniences where the dry cleaning is dropped off at your door and the meals are, you know, already prepped via like, you know, Home Chef, or like the places where you can go get everything done together? Like, I'm curious how people manage to get all of those extra things done if both people are out of the house. Do you hire help in? Do you try to manage it yourselves? Do your weekends get crammed full of all of those to-dos?
Yes.
Like,
I was actually asking, so Maja has a private tap dance class with a little girl. So it's a 2-person class.
Yeah.
And they do it because we signed these two up late to a class that they want to join with their friend group. But the class will be moving on to an advanced thing. So our daughters need to catch up. So this is a remedial class that we're doing so that they could socialize in the regular advanced class when school comes. Will they be great in the recital? Who fucking knows? But they want to see their homies. And that's, you know,
I
what
love
you do.
that. I love that. I have tap shoes. I tell Maja if we ever meet, I'll bring my tap shoes and I'm not good, but we can make noise.
Yes, and it's great for her to make noise. She's with her little friends. And it's an after school activity, which, you know, in pandemic, we didn't have any of those. So now I'm like trying to make up for.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to make up for that lost year of homeschool, which was now 2 years ago, which sounds crazy. But, you know, my kids had their life put on hold for a long time while everybody moved on very quickly. So now I'm trying to catch up. Mm-hmm. And in doing that, have enrolled my child in a private remedial tap dance class. Like, what the fuck? Cool life of privilege. Anyway, the mother of the other child is an anesthesiologist. She works in the hospital and her husband's a doctor. So she shows up, and she shows up in civilian clothes. So I'm like, ooh, look at you. Because she doesn't have days off. There's no time. I don't know how she... And so I was just like... So we walked across the street to a little nail salon, whatever, looking to see if we could get a little foot massage while the girls were But the nail salon was closed, so we ended up walking around in the little town and like chatting. Mm-hmm. She's a working mom. I'm a stay-at-home mom who kind of I didn't want to have to try to explain to the anesthesiologist what I do.
She's like, I'm
sometimes
sorry.
I make a little podcast, but also I'm in the factory. I count inventory. Sometimes I do QuickBooks. Like, that sounds crazy.
She's like, I'm fucking saving people's lives over here.
Yeah, correct. And I'm over here like, I am saving pennies on the dollar, finding Gildan 5000s.
I'm saving sunglasses from the landfill.
Yes. Yeah, I'm I upcycle and whatnot. So, which is crazy because I could have taken the time to explain all the things that I do, but it's just easier to say I'm a stay-at-home mom. You already make that assumption that people are going to automatically believe that if you're a stay-at-home mom, it's real cushy,
It's manicures and facials and massages and lunches.
Oh, well, let's not. We do fit those in.
We do fit those in, but it is not.
But they're part of the. Yeah, they're not relaxing.
It's like get in and get out. This is maintenance. Correct.
Like, honestly, doing your lashes is the worst because you can't read your text messages and check your emails while you're doing it. So you're like, maybe I just won't do those. It is one of those things. It's like Sophie's choice. Like, do I really need eyelashes? I don't need them. I don't think I need them. Which is so fucked up.
Wait, do you still get eyelashes regularly? I know you got them before.
I had to start getting them because I don't fucking have eyelashes because I got eyelashes.
Oh, so it's just like a vicious cycle. Yeah.
Correct. Anyway,
I want them, but I'm afraid of that happening.
That's what's going to happen. And then you're going to get in a vicious cycle. And then $120 later every 2 weeks, you're going to be like, what the fuck am I doing?
Okay, never mind. Okay, keep going.
And that's before the tip.
Oof. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. Correct. And then I'm also like, do we have this many? Like, what am I doing?
And then it's a vicious cycle because I have to continue to work in order to keep my looks up.
Correct. Yes. And then the next thing I know, Justin's like, you needed eyelashes? I'm like, but I needed them. I didn't have any. He's like, right, but what functionality do your eyelashes have?
You're like, do you want me to look like Fire Marshal Bill when I show up to your
and he
business?
Was like, and he would be like, yes, if we need eggs and milk and cheese, you dumb shit.
Oh no.
That's a hypothetical conversation.
Right.
Listen, my thing is if he hasn't noticed yet, then it's not a problem. So this is terrible. Don't listen
until
to our
he comes in. It says, "What is this charge to?"
Well, you know what? No, and that's the other thing. He doesn't need to see the charges. He doesn't need to see the. Listen, I'm in charge of, the cleanliness and food availability in this house.
Yeah.
And I'm in charge of how I want to look and feel. Matter of fact, at dinner the other day, we hadn't seen this person in a long time. He was like, Melissa, oh my gosh, you really look exactly the same in the 10 years that I've known you. Your face has not changed. And I was like, man, I wish you would have said that in front of my husband. He's like, why? Because Justin had gone to the car to get something or something, and he said it. And I was like, I wish you would have said that when he was sitting here. He's like, why? And I was like, because we just did our taxes. And I hid the column. I literally was like, let me learn Excel right quick. And I was like, and, my skincare, it was a massacre. That column was a massacre. And, but here we are. And so now I see that it was worth it because you just said that I look exactly the same for the past 10 years. He's like, you really do, though. And I was like, right, but you didn't say it in front of him, so
yeah,
thank you.
I would have just said, hey, can we do this when he gets back? Let's pretend that this exchange didn't happen, and we'll do it all again so that he can witness it. I totally would have done that.
Oh, God, now we're going to end up in a Reddit. Am I the asshole? And my husband... But let me just keep it all the way funky with y'all. There will never be a time where my funds are limited to the point where I can't... Correct. we have stopped having that argument. He didn't understand why teeth cost so much. He didn't understand why skincare cost so much. And I was just like, look at your wife. Look at her. Do you like looking at her? This is for you.
I say the same thing. I have highly curated an entire life for you. Do you enjoy this life or no? Because I could show up to your next work event just like with everything just undone. Will you like that? Well, I love you anyway.
Correct.
Right, but you also have only experienced me in this way. So,
right.
Do you like this?
Right.
Or no?
Do you want me to fall off?
And that's not to say that either of our husbands would be
are vain, superficial. Not at all. He would love me all the same. If I decided that
he would fuck you with a nub, Melissa.
Girl, 100%. And he would be happy to do it. He would be happy to do it. So yeah, a lot of it is you just got to make them believe that it's for them. It's not. It's for me, 100%. I'm a vain bitch.
Yeah.
And if I got ugly, I would be sad inside. So it's for me. And that's okay. But you got to sometimes package it that it's for them. Correct. But I also do believe that it is kind of for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are 100%. A reflection of each other. I say that, though. I do believe that Justin can go any which way he wants. That's a sexy motherfucker to me. So.
Yeah.
But I don't think he feels the same. Yeah, Justin Beck could go all the way, like, gun-toting, giant stomach, drinks beer, smashes the can on his head. I'm like, that motherfucker is mine's.
Yes. Same. I feel the exact same way. But also, I don't make choices about my body. I don't make choices about my face or my skin or my hair. Like, those are obviously, like, very vain choices that I make for me. But also, like, I do understand that sometimes sexual attraction can stem from a visual. So if he likes this visual, then I'm going to keep providing that because I love him. It's really just selfless. I think that that's really what it is at the end of the day. You are just being so selfless in the maintenance.
That's what I'm saying.
Person.
I do this for you. I do this for you, babe.
Sacrifice.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, but like, cause sometimes I'll be packing up, going ready to get ready. He's, where are you going? A facial. He's like, you literally said that last week. I was like, yeah. I went last week. I know, but you just said you're going now. Right. This is the part 2 of it. What are you talking about? These things. It's a 2-part. It's a 2-part treatment. He's like, what happens? I'm like, it's so hard to explain. Oh my God. He's like, but you come back and you look exactly the same. I go, exactly.
That's the point.
It's so that this face doesn't change. This one that you're seeing now, this 45-year-old version of me that looks maybe 38, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to maintain the 38.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I got to go every week. Every week? Well, for this particular treatment. Next month, it'll go back down to 2. He doesn't understand. I'm like, I'm not going to go through and explain my micro needling systems. I can't. You know?
He doesn't need to understand that.
He doesn't need it. And I'm also like, do you want to start coming? Because if I buy the package.
Oh, right. I offered waxing to Chris because I know that he has like body hair on his chest and back that he does not enjoy. And I was like, listen, I can buy a package and we can share it because he enjoys. There are certain things that I have like picked up and done now thanks to you.
Meow.
I come home and he's like, oh, I like that. So there are some things that can slide because he also finds benefit.
See what I say? Amanda said she getting that kitty cat wax, and he said, yeah, we could keep that on the fucking roster.
Melissa, I put it on the shared calendar as a reminder mainly to myself. And this man will see it a week in advance and be like, whoa, wax coming up.
Oh, yeah. He's over there, Birdman hand rub. What I say? See what I'm saying?
You're right.
And so, like, if you want to go in and, open the waxing column on the spreadsheet and see that we've spent this much money, you have to account for whether or not you experienced joy from that purchase. And did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did we say for richer or for poor, like, or no?
The point is, so I'm walking with the fucking anesthesiologist. And she's wearing a dress.
Yeah.
What's funny is the time that I had seen her 3 weeks before, or 2 weeks before, she was wearing that same dress and I was wearing the same dress. I was like, did we just completely redo the same outfit? She's like, yes. And I go, well, this happens to be my favorite dress at the moment. She happened to be wearing her favorite dress at the moment. And I said, well, then I'll see you next week in this dress again. Anyway, I was like, she's like, no, I got errands done, blah, blah, blah. And she took her younger child with her. So she had a stay-at-home mom day, which is you got to go to the dry cleaners, to this, to that, and you have the 6-year-old with you because you made an activity for the other one, whatever. And she was just like, if I don't multitask and do all the things I need to do every day, she was like, it just falls to the wayside and things won't get done. And then they spend all weekend running errands and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's crazy. And here's Justin, where we have our weekends free to be weekends because there's a person in the household that can go do all those errands during the week. Yeah. So now it's, hey kids, do you want to go to the aquarium? Hey kids, do you want to go to the pool today? Hey kids, do you want to, lounge around and do nothing? It's up to you. But like, I've had to like train him to understand this abundance of time that we have to do nothing on a Saturday is because I ran during the week. See what I'm saying? Yeah. And he gets upset about the doing of the nothing. And I'm like, doing nothing is a luxury.
Wait, he gets upset. He wants to
run
activities.
And go and yes.
Yes, I forgot. Yeah.
And I'm like, ugh.
I think that there's a way that you can but Justin also likes to do things together because we too have things happen on the weekends, but we tend to divide and conquer. So I'll go do things on my part, Chris will go do the things that he needs to do, and then we'll usually reconvene by like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon and then just have the rest of the day free.
Wow, that sounds great. No, Justin Beck's not doing... No. This is a fucking package deal. We are all going to go get Daddy's Nike socks. We are all going to drop Mommy's car off to get the fucking, vehicle inspection thing, sticker right. Yeah. We are all going. Like, if it's a Saturday, we're all doing it. And Shalom has just, finessed. She's like, I'm not doing that. Right. So Shalom is at home doing what I would like to be doing, but Mommy she's like, and I'll be texting her through the day. I'll be like, we're still at the oil change place, and then we're going to go get a smoothie real quick, and then after that, we're going to go do this. Do you want a coffee or anything? So why am Shalom is getting the treatment I should have.
Right. Shalom is like a princess at home, just like, I'll take iced latte, please.
She is until I start being... Well, now we've instituted a thing. If you want to stay home and you want to veto outside plans with Mom and Dad and your sisters, then that washer and that dryer is calling your name. Yeah. So that laundry better be done when I get home. And I know she be scrambling. I know Life 360 is her friend. She'll get that alert and be like, fuck!
I love Life 360. Just for that specific reason.
Yep. Oh, yeah. It'll be
like, Chris has arrived home.
I see Justin's at the nail salon. Baby, I ain't never had such motivation to do the dishes. Hey, what'd you do today? I'm doing something. You don't see me doing all of the things?
I was talking to my therapist recently about how I have this thing where I have a hard time sitting down and just doing nothing. I have a hard time sitting down and just watching a TV show. I feel incredibly guilty because I was like, if there's things that have to be done in my house, then those need to be done before I allow myself to rest or do something just for pleasure. But 2 weeks ago, I found myself on a Friday, I was exhausted, like that full body tired where I was like, I just need to take a nap. So It was like 12:40. I thought I have enough time for an hour. I'm going to go in here, pull the shades, lay down, take a nap. So I lay down, I sleep, and then I kind of do that thing where you're just kind of like in bed and maybe you fall back asleep for 20 minutes and then you wake up and you like look at your phone or you read something. And so Chris called in the middle of this like midday siesta and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, folding laundry." Full on lie. And she was like, "Why couldn't you just tell him you were taking a nap? It's okay to take a nap." And I said, "Yeah, I know, but I feel incredibly guilty. If he calls me in the middle of the day, like he would understand. I've been up since 5 a.m. I went to work. I came home, did all this shit. Like he wouldn't ever be mad at me for saying that. But inside, I felt gross being like, yeah, it's 1:30 in the afternoon and I'm in bed." Like,
And
what do you
then,
mean, what am I doing?
And then you felt bad about the white lie.
Yes. Yes. And so we talked about like the rest of the therapist session was like, she was like, "You need to take Fridays." And she was like, "And just set aside an hour and take a nap." She's like, "It's okay. You're allowed to do that." And then she told me this story of this client that she had that was, now this made me feel really bad because this woman did fucking deserve a break. She was like going for her PhD. She had like 5 million kids. She worked during the week. But on Saturdays, she was like, "Everybody can fend for themselves. I have done all of my work for you for the last 5 days. And on Saturday, I'm not doing shit." And the husband was supportive and the kids figured it out. But like, she was like, she just stayed in bed all day and she would read and she would work on, you know, the homework that she had for the week. But she was like totally checked out of all of the housework, all of the chores, all of that.
And she deserved. And she
deserved. And I was like, wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, see.
But like that Life 360 comes on and I'm jumping up out of bed. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
I know. It's weird. It's Pavlovian. You're like, fuck, that. Yeah.
And I have maybe only been
with it.
sitting for 5 minutes to like look at my phone, but you better believe my ass is up doing something.
But I also enjoy a measured violence where I dare you to say something to me. So it depends on my mood, you know. It depends on my mood. It could be, you know, I get up and I scramble and I am going to start wiping counters down. I like a motherfucker to walk in and smell bleach and smell pine sol and hear appliances running. Yeah. And then I dare. "What'd you do today? What'd you do all day? I really wish you would." And he's never done that anymore. He already know. After he was Mr. Mom, he was like, "No, I get it. No, this is crazy." But I also I think have explained properly, like, just because you see me scrolling on my phone doesn't mean that I'm not doing anything. I could be reading entire books. I could be editing. You just don't see my headphone and I'm doing something. You know, I'm listening to something and I'm jotting something down. I've mastered editing on my phone now. It's a pause, go to the Slack, da-da-da, da-da-da. Before it used to be I had to sit at the computer, I had to plug in, I had a notebook, paper, and pencil. Yeah. But because I've lost so much free time to focus on my side hustle, I figured out how to side hustle while I'm side hustling on the way to the other hustle. Like there's you just figure out shit. So he doesn't have that. And I also just am crazy. I'm just like, look, my mentals are fragile. So be careful.
But I think if you were working at a full-time out of the house job, I mean, nobody is productive 100% of the time that they're sitting at their desk. They say that people Oh yes, they say that people that work an 8-hour day probably have 15 productive minutes of work. Something crazy like that. I forget where I read it. So much time theft. So just because you're, you know, out of the house doesn't mean that you're finding that. So just because you're in the house and your job is the care and keeping of, you know, the stuff that is required to keep your family going doesn't mean that you're not allowed. But I think it goes back to that conversation that we were having last week about, you know, trying to justify what you do when talking to somebody that doesn't stay home in an effort to like boost your confidence or like your feeling of worthiness. And it's like, for what though? Like, you are worthy, and the things that you're doing at home are worthy. And if it wasn't for you doing those things.
Did we cut that out of the episode?
We did.
Oh, okay. So, reintroducing it. Last week, at the tail end of the conversation, I forget how we got there.
I was talking to a mom at Bennett's volunteer thing, and the conversation came up, what do you do? And then we talked about how I should just lie and tell people I work on really famous special podcasts and give them fake names. And then we talked about how
No, I didn't say that. I said, you say, oh, right. You said, and I was scrambling and I started coming up with these things that I do, but like packaging them in such a way. And I was like, oh, I've alleviated that problem by saying not a goddamn thing. My answer to what do you do is not a goddamn thing. Because if you walk away from this conversation with me and you believe that Melissa Beck doesn't do anything, then that's okay. What do I care?
That's on you.
But not a goddamn thing is such a startling answer. And they're like, sometimes they go, oh, okay. Because they're just like, what? Well, or they're like, what, oh, come on, but really, what do you do? And I'm like, no, really, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Which is crazy, because I'm sitting here doing the thing with you.
Well, this week at the volunteer thing, I just stayed in my car the whole time so that I didn't have to interact with this mom in the event that she did listen to the podcast and now thinks that I am a whole crazy person. I just parked, I took a book, and I sat there and waited it out in the hot, hot heat.
Dude, you turned the car off?
Well, I mean, like, it wasn't that bad. I came up with this new invention. I opened the sun, like I parked in the shade. I opened the sunroof. I put down the windows on my car. And then I took my umbrella, like a genius, and I put it out of the sunroof because sunshine was coming in and I didn't have on sunscreen on my body. And I opened the umbrella. And so then that way I could get air in, but then I also blocked the sun. You can pin that if you want.
She said I invented that. Oh, see, because I'm just destroying the earth and wasting gas. This air conditioning is on. I don't care what y'all doing. I'm going through my time.
Gas prices. I had to sit there for 40 minutes.
I'm going through my time, I said. I'm hot. I'm very hot. I'm 50 years old and I'm hot.
Yeah.
And you don't want me to be uncomfortable and hot in front of the children. We have to be nice. So please let me be comfortable. I'm hot, I said. Justin's like, today he was like, I woke up at like 4 a.m. I was like, babe, you got to turn the air on, because he can turn the air on with his phone.
Yeah.
It like connects to I don't know what, I don't have the app, but he does.
Yeah.
So I was like, babe, because I also could just walk the 7 feet to turn the air on.
Turn it down, yeah.
But I'm hot though. So I nudged him at 4 a.m. He's like, what? Because I know my husband too. We are both terrible sleepers.
Mm-hmm.
To turn it on, and he's like, no, seriously, you need to go to the doctor. And I was like, babe, during your time, your hormones, this is full decline, full womanly decline. There's nothing the doctor is going to be able to do about it. He's just going to go, yeah, dude, welcome. That's it. My hair is falling out. I'm hot all the time. That errant chin hair is getting thicker. Things are happening.
Yeah.
Things are happening, and it's all hormonal. And if I've been mean in the past 2 weeks, he's like, 2 weeks? Try. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going through my time, and you have to like give me space in that. And part of that is turn this air conditioning on.
Aren't there things, I mean, I know, like, I remember my mom suffering with like having hot flashes, but aren't there things that you can do? Like, my girlfriend was saying that her mom like hired this doctor. It sounded like maybe a naturopath, and he gave her like a whole host of like things that she could take that really made her transition. She said her mom wasn't bothered by it 1 minute, like didn't have any issues. There's nothing that you can take to kind of like offset.
That would require a proactive, positive approach. And usually what I like to do is just wallow, in the discomfort and just be
wallow
grouchy.
In your sweat.
Yeah, I'm up to like 3 or 4 showers, cold, and he changed the nozzle on the shower head to where now we can click it, tick, 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 and to the left, and it becomes like the stream changes, so it can be hard as fuck.
Yeah.
Hard, nice. Regular. Less regular. A fine mist. Like that, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So what I like to do is turn the water on freezing fine mist, and just go in there and like luxuriate for like 5 minutes so that I'm uncomfortably cold. I'm cold.
Yeah.
Then I like to put my pajamas back on and get under the weighted blanket until I get hot again. And then when I get hot again, I just crank the air down to 68.
Yeah.
And then have him go, "It's fucking freezing in here. Are you insane?"
Well, that cold shower is actually, it's beneficial for your central nervous system as well. It's recommended that you're supposed to finish your showers with a cold rinse because it turns your, what is it? Is it your central nervous system? I think somebody out there screaming at me because I'm totally wrong, but it goes from like fight or flight into rest and digest. Your parasympathetic nervous system. So it actually can be really helpful for like anxiety, because it can flip that switch and get your body into that calm place. So you're actually doing double benefit for yourself by getting that little cold shower.
And maybe because I've become addicted to that setting in there, maybe I have figured that out like emotionally, but not practically. And maybe I'm doing it because I need it.
You may be.
But also, for the purposes of vanity, always end the face wash with a cold because you got to close your pores. You just cleaned them all out. Let's close them up.
Right. Your hair, too. It smooths the cuticle.
Yep. So my little mist is cute.
Well, that's good. Could you like maybe put a fan?
I've started buying little handheld fans, and I just pull them out every now and again and start fanning myself. We went on the boat with our friends, and I had the fan, and our friend was like, "Melissa, you're bringing all this? What do you need this for? We're going to be on the boat."
Yeah.
And I was like, "I know, but what if I get hot when the boat's sitting still?"
Oh, yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah, so I have my fan. And I've now started an assortment of different fans, but I think that the most practical ones are the ones that open up. Mm-hmm. Because I had a little circular one with like fringe on it, and she was really fancy and cute, and she got in the water. She got torn up real quick, but she was like too expensive to be getting torn up, so I need to buy just a bulk handheld fans, you know, because I am going through my time. I'm very hot a lot.
Does it come and go, or like you'll be hot for the whole day? Is it like an hour of hot, 10 minutes of hot,
waves.
Or like, whoa,
weird waves? So I'll just like feel it coming on. I'll be like, fuck, or I'll just be, or oh god. It also comes with weird little bouts of exhaustion, so I'll just get really tired out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And I start yawning and shit. Oh my god, see?
Oof.
I start yawning and shit. And then take a little cat nap, and then we'll wake up from the cat nap drenched in sweat. I don't know yet if that's a panic attack or my time. Either way, I ain't okay.
That sounds really terrible.
And it's like every day.
Every day? Multiple times a day, you just get overcome with heat.
Yes.
And exhaustion. Have you had your have you had a physical recently?
Yeah, I need to get the checked.
Yeah, your thyroid.
Yes. I'm waiting. I know that one day I'm going to wake up and have the goiter, and I'm going to be like, oh.
Well, because like hair loss is also a part of thyroid levels. Like my mom had issues. She was young, because I remember I was like still school age, and her hair started, like she lost all the hair on her arms, and I think her hair started thinning on her head, and it was a thyroid issue. And you know, I think medications can be pretty effective in helping people, or, you know, at least your doctor can point you in the right direction if you need to see a specialist or whatever.
But remember, they checked that, and there was nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, but there's like this sexy pharmacist that I follow on TikTok, and he was saying that your levels can appear normal, but you can still have issues. So I would maybe, if you're still, like if you're suffering, I mean, it could be nothing, but also it could be something, and it wouldn't be, you know, how many people are like told, oh, you're totally fine, and then they're like really sick, like my dad.
Right. I heard there was a class action lawsuit. Yeah, Melissa, this don't got shit to do with anything, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I heard there was a class.
Isn't that with this part? I mean, we just had a whole entire tangent talking about wearing the same dress into beauty, and then just came right back to the story. If they haven't recognized that at this point, I don't know what the fuck they're listening to.
Girl, I'm still trying to get to the anesthesiologist, having to run errands on the weekend. We're done with that. The point is, there's a class action lawsuit going on where people took Zantac for stomach issues.
Yeah.
But the Zantac was creating the stomach issues. So some man had like a 400 fucking pound, not 400, a 40 pound, some big ass tumor in his stomach.
What?
That the Zantac was feeding.
Oh my God.
Okay, hold on a second. Is this going to be some lawsuit, this defamation? I forget. I had heard from...
Allegedly.
Correct, allegedly. I had heard from a man, because Justin is a person that, like, he has a nervous stomach, and so he takes Tums, and he used to take them by the handful. And I was like, I don't think you should do that.
Yeah.
I don't think you should do that. I think you should just go and see if you have an ulcer and get it checked. But, like, a lot of Justin's body stuff is stress related.
Psychosomatic.
Yeah, so I told him he had to stop taking all these little things that make his, that seem to calm his stomach down. Whatever.
Yeah.
Really what he should be doing is smoking weed. He's never going to get there, but like that's what he needs to do. I think that he would be so much happier.
Solve a lot of problems. We were just having this conversation the other night. We were watching this show on Netflix, and I was like, I feel like if everybody had access to weed, that a lot of our problems would be solved.
It's from the earth, and there's ways to do it carefully, and you don't have to be, driving crazy and all that. Again, remember what I said a couple weeks ago, where I said there's rage in the water?
Yeah.
There is, because I keep still seeing random stories here and there of people fucking losing it. Quick losing it. To where, like, it just doesn't feel right to be out and about. Except now is the time to be out and about because...
Listen, Ozzy Osbourne, voice of reason, all of a sudden here, leaving the country to go back to England because he was like, I don't want to die here. I don't want to be shot. I was like, wow.
Oh, that's what he said?
Yes.
I feel that, though. I saw a clip on... I saw a news clip today where a bunch of masked men, not medical grade mask, like, that scary
balaclava.
That with the AR-15, so they looked like the wrong side of history. Mm-hmm. They were in their militia garb and they were standing outside of a drag show protecting it.
Wow.
So then some MAGA 2As came to like align themselves with them. And be like, yeah, this is pedophilia, this is that. And then the dudes with the guns were like, no, we're protecting them from you. Get the fuck out of here. Wow. And they were so baffled and offended that people that would support any LGBTQ space looked like them. They were very confused. But that's the other thing is, 2A is for everybody.
Yeah, it was like that Spider-Man meme.
Yes. But they were on the right side of history. And they were like, you need to go to the other side of the sidewalk with that bullshit.
Wow.
But also, if you think about it, though, that is kind of scary, though. Because soon enough, everybody will have guns and we won't know who's who. So we're just going to start shooting. And the gross part is, I'm like, maybe that's what we got to do. But,
I saw this lady on, maybe she's on TikTok the other day, and I almost bought you. She had all of these really cute weapons. They were they were like sheathed in silicone, but there was one that was like a handheld knife. Well, I guess all knives are handheld. A little, like for like when you're out, you know, by yourself, or you're like exercising outside, which obviously you wouldn't need that for, but it was like like that little stick, you know, but it had a point in it. And then there was one that was like a knife, but it had like a place for pepper spray. And then there was one to like put around your hand. And so like when you stab, the little protective sheath comes away. And I thought, oh, it was created by a woman. I was like, this is so clever. I think I might need to get like one for me and one for Quinn. And she can't take it to school, but like.
That's crazy that you say that, because this woman we work with, lovely woman, she, you know, eats healthy. She does some kind of breathing, body work, exercise, but like daily. She goes in a chamber and oxygen, this and that. She figured out how to change her diet and her lifestyle to ease the symptoms of her MS, and then has since gone on a path of like wellness, and she's like thin and healthy, and not having to take all of the gross medications that would just you know, blind the body to the symptoms of the shit that was going on. She got to the root and the source, and she figured it out. Whatever. There's a whole entire journal, medical journal, written about her findings. And I'd be like, I do a little stuff for her too at work. Anyway, her husband is a tattoo artist, but on the side makes knives. And so the other day we were all three leaving the factory together, and she, you know, she had the little knife. It didn't even, you couldn't even see it. She had the little knife in her pouch in the, the exercise leggings have the little thing.
Yeah.
For the phone or whatever. She had it like tucked away. And then she showed it to me, and her husband made her a custom little baby knife that had a little sheath. You pop that sheath off and you get to stabbing. But the knife was so beautifully crafted. It looked like Games of Thrones. It was really like medieval and pretty.
Ooh.
And she was like, yeah, he started making them on the side and selling them at little shows. And he sells out in like the first 20 minutes when he has them. But it takes him a long time to make these beautiful knives. I'm about to buy me a beautiful knife. I'm about to spend $300 on a beautiful knife. Dead ass.
Wow.
But I want it to be like, I was like, can I pick my leathers and pick my cords and all that? And she's like, yes. And I want it to be engraved with the word Beck. So like, you can let him know. You ain't gonna find the weapon. I spent good money on that weapon.
It's gonna be like broken off in something, and somebody's gonna be like, oh yeah, Melissa Beck was here.
Oh no, that is a pretty bad idea.
Come on now, Dateline. They're checking casings on bullets and prints on shoes. You think they're not gonna? You just left your calling card.
Yeah, that shit said Beck, and it had her address. So the police came. There were 2 shards of knife broken off in the man's torso. One said BE and the other one said CK. We put them together and we easily surmised that it was BECK, someone with the name BECK outside of a factory owned by a man named Justin Beck.
And then we cut to Keith Morris is leaning against the factory in his signature lean.
Here.
And
as you can see, the police crime scene has not even been cleaned up yet. This here you can find. Is that the fucking outline of the person's body? And then it cuts to an interview of Justin Beck holding a nervous paper. Dude, I don't even have a gun. I believe in peace. I didn't do that. I'm not guilty of this. I'm not guilty of this. And then me on the side, he would never do that. He would never do that.
And then they cut to a portion of the podcast. Beck, who hosts a podcast that nobody knows called Imperfect Strangers, on this date had a conversation.
And then they
with
cut
her
in the
co-host.
audio. Man, I'm gonna stab somebody. Go, go, go! And I had the fucking knife tip engraved BECK. In audio that we unearthed. No, in audio. The podcast was not available on anywhere where you could listen to podcasts. However, they had RSS feeded it into YouTube. So we found... Cut to that, the police again on my front door. No comment, no comment. Not feeded it. Fed, dumbass. Yeah, we should probably not talk about the weapons that we want to buy.
Yeah, probably not. Well, hey, you know what? We're women, and we have to protect ourselves with our tiny little silicone.
Listen, I can't believe that you didn't know. I can't believe that we are both discovering that we're getting into knives, because also someone that I follow on Twitter posted something, and she was just like, where can I buy a single stud? Because she wanted to wear, she was gifted an earring, but it was just one earring, and the earring is heavy. So, you know, she didn't, I don't know what she was asking. The point is, she posted a picture of the earring that she was gifted. Bruh. I'm going to have to find it. It's a tiny baby knife.
I have tiny baby knives.
This was like a little, like, Aladdin kind of knife.
Oh,
with like a curved tip and handle with a little mustache at the top.
Yes.
It looked like a ethnic knife, like a machete, ethnic machete.
But it has a name.
This fool said ethnic machete. I know.
No, I know what you're talking about, because they used to, the ladies used to buy them in belly dancing, and they would dance with them and balance them on their heads. I know exactly what you're talking about, and it has a name. Shit, this is gonna bug me, but continue. That's amazing. She had this.
So it was a tiny earring like that,
like a little stud.
It's a little dangle. It's as long as my pinky, so it's a big, cute, dangly knife that I would like to wear. But I'm like, I want that knife. So I'm going to send a picture of that to this girl and have her send it to her husband and see, can he build me a tiny baby version of that knife, but then like put my little name on it.
So is this something that like you could keep on your keychain, or like you would just have to have it in a pocket?
Oh, no. He makes the knife specifically to be hidden in your clothes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. But even he makes the little sheath on it. It's all like hand molded. There's a rope involved. There's the sheath. I don't know what it is, but he molds it to fit it perfectly. And it clicks closed. It clicks closed. And the knife is sharp.
Yes.
I mean, the thing is, I don't want to stab anybody.
No, absolutely not. But I mean, I think it's unrealistic. Like, I've never carried pepper spray. Never had, I think maybe I had like a rape whistle on my keys when I was in college. But I think that it's, I don't know, things are crazy. I don't think that it's, I would rather have a knife on my person than keep a gun. I think guns are very scary.
Guns are very scary.
I think a personal taser is cute.
I would love
My
to
mom
taser
has
someone.
one of those.
I actually would love to taser someone. That sounds terrible. Well, I think that they should be tasering the children who stand on exhibits. So it's not, because you can recover from a taser.
Yeah, well,
if I'm far enough away,
if
if you're keeping 6 feet, come on now.
Yeah,
I told you
there
stay
have been
back.
people that they just keep over and over and over again.
I like that. If that person is in the wrong,
where they're like on the ground like a fish out of water, and then they jump up and they keep coming back at you, and then they back on the ground again, and then they get back up.
well,
We
like,
gotta cut this
yeah, that's your
whole-
dumbass. No, we don't. If the person is in the wrong and they're getting hurt, that's justice.
If the person is in the wrong, I don't like people getting,
Correct.
injured, hurt when they're completely innocent. But if you're attacking a woman, 100% tase him.
If you're attacking a woman or a child, I feel like if the death penalty is a result, that's what happened, bro. Shouldn't have done that. Or if you're messing with animals and the animal then attacks. Shouldn't have done that.
Correct.
Shouldn't have done that. I love those videos. You can
Oh my
go through
God.
if you follow me on Twitter, go to my likes. My likes is literal all animal attacks.
Did you see the one recently with the seal?
Which one?
The guy was in the water swimming, and the seal came up, and people are yelling from the shore. And I don't know if this person was like trying to get at the seal or was just minding his own business. But the seal fucking comes up and attacks him like multiple times. Like, hey, this is a huge fucking seal. This isn't a cute baby like that you see at the aquarium. This is like a big fucking, like, it's gonna take your face off.
That's what he gets. Was there no swimming sign?
I don't know. It was just like a really close up. I think it happened in the UK. I saw that. Did you see the woman that got attacked in her garden by the fox?
Love that one. I mean, I feel bad she wasn't doing nothing. But when she tried to punk that motherfucker and he came back.
Yes. Did you see the one where the guy jumped on top of the car because the dog came at him? And the lady was in the car?
Well, I've seen multiples of those ring cams. There's a whole section of internet that's ring cams of people getting attacked by dogs, which is terrible, Melissa. Oh my God. But I like when an elephant does it. I love it when when like animals in the wild do it, and it's just like, you were in their space. You need to back off. Correct. And that's just it. Like, don't bother fish deep sea diving and shit. Why are you here? Can you imagine? You're just in your home and all of a sudden a fish comes walking in. Sup? What the fuck?
I mean, we did take
They have every right to attack.
We took that airboat tour in New Orleans, and the gentleman was like, I'm going to bring the alligators up onto the boat. And I have never been more thankful to not have been seated
That's like
in the
feeded.
front row in my
Feeded
life,
and
because seated and seated.
Don't bring that animal on here. Don't bring that. We're already
on top. And then
That's
he
wrong.
was like petting and kissing one because he said it was the least reactive. And I was like, it's the least reactive until it bites your fucking face off. These are wild animals. What are you doing?
And I love those news stories especially. Where it's something that everybody does. They've been doing it forever. And then when the animal snaps, that's my favorite. I fucking told y'all.
I saw an article yesterday where a gentleman keeps an alligator as a pet, and the alligator sleeps in bed with him. Why?
And I hope that alligator snaps. Remember that Oprah story?
Yes, with the monkey.
The lady came over and she pet that monkey. She knew that monkey all them years, and then that monkey said, I don't give a fuck anymore. And that monkey ate her motherfucking face off, and then she did her first interview on Oprah with that bonnet hat with the fucking veil, which actually was mad stylish. That's what you get. That is what. Listen, you think that I'm fighting for my life here with Lloyd. It's been 9 weeks. Y'all were like, they don't live long.
Well, we didn't mean like weeks long. We meant like you're not going to
I was
have
thinking
him for
6
5
weeks marked. I was
years.
done with this, dude. It's been 9 weeks, and every week that goes by, she loves him more.
Oh.
Mom, look what he did. Mom, look what he's so funny. Look what he did with his food. Oh my God, when I give him cucumbers, they're his favorite. He doesn't like tomatoes that much. She's starting to learn his preferences and shit. She knows his sleep schedule. She knows when he wants to go for a ride in his Corvette. I am sick of this. She loves him. She comes home from wherever she's been, runs up, Lloyd's awake! It's a whole song and dance. She goes in the pet store. She's excited. We have to try these. I Googled it, and it looks like he has a more balanced diet if he da-da-da. So I'm doing a 2-cart Costco run, and now I got to stop into Petco to buy this motherfucker something? This is not what I signed up for. Y'all said he would die soon, and he didn't.
You are teaching her so many good habits. She is learning to be responsible for someone else. I think maybe if you can reframe it as, I am giving Maja
I'm not
some very
reframing a
important
goddamn
life
thing.
skills.
I'm talking right over you.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Imperfect Strangers Podcast. You can find us on the web at imperfectstrangerspodcast.com. We are active on Instagram at imperfectstrangers_podcast, on Twitter at imperfstrangers. What else? Is that it? We have a private Facebook group. You can email us at askimperfectstrangers@gmail.com. We would love a 5-star rating and a review from you if you listen on Apple Podcasts, and a whole bunch of you do. Like 85% of our audience is listening to this on Apple. So take a moment, jump on in there, let others know what you think of the show, but just like be kind, because we are also human beings with feelings, not just talking heads behind a microphone. So jump on in there. We would love to hear from you. In the meantime, we will be working hard on the very next episode. Hope you guys have a lovely long weekend, and we will be back next week with a brand new episode. Also, don't forget to tune in to our Monday Night Live next week. Maybe on a Monday, may not be on a Monday, but if you turn on those notifications, you will be notified as soon as we go on. And you know, if you miss a live, you miss a lot. Okay, thanks. Bye.